Alright, y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it's worth. Let's get this merch. Subscribe to the PDH Network. Alright, y'all see what we got going on here? As y'all see the thumbnail, y'all read the title under the thumbnail. Yeah, so today's video is dealing with your guy, J.Prince Sr. So yeah, J.Prince Sr., he decides to go off on Quavo affiliates for blaming Junior MobTies shot TakeOff and set up Duke and HTown, man. So J.Prince the Pops, he's making it seem like people was just talking about his sons for no reason. But he gotta understand, his sons is giving these people something to talk about. Mainly J.Prince Jr. Because we all know Jazz, he's not trying to earn no type of street credibility from nobody. But J.Prince Jr., every time you look up, hearing somebody club, hearing somebody face, he having a back and forth with some female. Come on, man. He just be doing a lot out here, and that's the whole reason why there's people that keep speaking on his name. Yeah, I know, folks. J.Prince Sr., he's doing everything in his power to protect the Prince last name. But what he has to understand is nobody will be talking about his son's MobTies this way if J.Prince Jr. won't keep giving these people a reason to continue to bring his name up as far as being involved in any type of criminal activity. And yeah, I'm talking about Duke being set up and TakeOff untimely demise at these private dice game functions, man. You got two highly successful black men being taken out, hanging around suburban dudes. Come on, man, that don't even sound right. So yeah, while you got some people who understand the moves of J.Prince the Pops as far as protecting the image of the Prince last name, yeah, we understand where you coming from with that. But again, at the same time, he has to look at the whole scope of things. I mean, just for example, when J.Prince Jr. signed Finesse 2 Times, everybody tipped their hat off to J.Prince Jr. for looking out for Finesse 2 Times, especially when Finesse 2 Times was locked up. Like a lot of people gave J.Prince Jr. love for looking out for Finesse 2 Times and properly assisting Finesse 2 Times to make money, do shows, go on tours. I'm talking about soon as Finesse 2 Times got released, he was doing videos, doing shows. He had a couple features lined up already. And yes, that was from the resources that J.Prince Jr. had provided Finesse 2 Times with. And like I stated, that's something that we tip our hats off to. But at the same time, but again, once J.Prince Jr. started telling guys to check in, and those same dudes that he told to check in don't make it back home to their family, who the Pops expect for us to blame it on? Yes, I know one point in time, they wanted us to blame Boosie for Duke the Jeweler untimely demise. Now dealing with TakeOff. Yeah, so now the MobTies affiliates who got arrested for allegedly shooting up TakeOff, they got released. And I'm talking about LilCam and DJ Pat. Now LilCam Fifth, we all know he's still incarcerated based on a case that he had in a whole nother state. And now I know y'all just heard that DJ Pat got released. So what I'm saying is, since the Pops J.Prince got word that both MobTies affiliates had no motive into shooting TakeOff and they got released, so that automatically relieved all MobTies affiliates who had something to do with TakeOff's untimely demise. Now before we get into it, as always, let's first pay our respects and say rest in peace to TakeOff, condolences to his family, and much love to all my folks in the ATL, Quavo, Offset, and TakeOff brother YRN Lingo. Hey man, y'all keep y'all heads up out there, my guys. Y'all will soon get justice for TakeOff untimely demise. Same thing goes for Chicago's own Duke the Jeweler. We would like to say rest in peace to Duke the Jeweler, condolences to his family, and much love to all my folks in Chicago. So, since J.Prince got the word that LilCam and DJ Pat, both MobTies affiliates, had nothing to do with TakeOff or Duke the Jeweler untimely demise, this is the reason why the Pops is going in on Quavo and anybody else who got something to say about his son's MobTies. But if y'all pay attention, J.Prince, he ain't said nothing about Duke the Jeweler. He ain't said nothing about his sons inviting out a jeweler from Chicago to attend the dice game and the other events that was going on at HTown that weekend that Duke was out there. So the folks want to know what's going on with Duke case and have they got any information that will lead them to the people who got Duke's jewelry. See, folks tried to let y'all know that once the focus was on J.Prince Jr. MobTies for setting up Duke, it looked like the Pops may have made a few moves and paid off a couple people to change that narrative to Sauce Walka TSF affiliates having something to do with Duke the Jeweler untimely demise. Now, I'm with a lot of people in Houston. I don't believe that Sauce Walka TSF affiliates had nothing to do with Duke the Jeweler untimely demise. But at the same time, I wasn't there. And dealing with that, even Sauce Walker don't know all the moves of his affiliates. You understand? Because if that was the case, he would have been familiar with his guys getting indicted on a RICO case. So that lets y'all know that while Sauce Walker is recording in the studio doing what he do to make money for his family, he got guys that's affiliated with him that's engaging in all type of criminal activity that's now being tied back to him. You understand? It's not the same thing with J.Prince Jr. Because like I stated before, man, he's the one that's setting up these private dice game events. And he's doing it with known name and faces. Again, y'all got to pay attention. Y'all don't know too many black young jewelers. There was a lot of people who was at that dice game who didn't know that Duke was a jeweler. You understand? So what I'm saying is, the people who knew that he was a jeweler and knew that he had bought a Louis Vuitton bag full of jewelry to H-Town, those was the people who was at the dice game. I'm going to alleviate Boosie because I do believe that Boosie affiliates had nothing to do with it. Now, because of what happened with TakeOff at the private event, a lot of people started connecting dots and said, hey, if that happened with TakeOff at a private event that J.Prince Jr. had put together, he put together the same event and invited out Duke the Jeweler just 2 months prior. You understand? So yes, while the Pops, J.Prince is doing everything in his power to make sure that his sons and they MobTies affiliates don't go down for what happened with Duke the Jeweler or TakeOff. That's the reason why he went on social media going in on anybody who trying to attach his sons to Duke the Jeweler and TakeOff untimely demise. Yeah, folks, I seen that social media post of J.Prince the Pops, him going in on people for bringing up his son's name for having something to do with TakeOff and Duke the Jeweler untimely demise. He said until the people get the facts right, they need to stop bringing up his son's names as far as being involved in any type of street or criminal activity. But what the Pops don't understand is the sons is giving us all this. You know what I'm saying? Without the son, J.Prince Jr., telling people that they have to check in, and knowing that the people that he's telling to check in is not being properly protected, because we seeing it. And the results are that they not making it back home to their families. So yes, we understand where the Pops, J.Prince, is coming from. Folks told y'all before, he's going to do everything in his power to protect the last name. But what he don't understand is, we're just not going to ignore what we see is going on. And that's two highly successful black men. They didn't make it back home to their families, but they was told to check in. And I'm talking about Chicago's own Duke the Jeweler and ATL's own TakeOff, man. So the people is saying, hey, you can't tell folks to check in if you don't have the proper protection for them guys. And not only that, you have people in Houston who's speaking on the fact that, hey man, we're not even cool with what happened with Duke the Jeweler or TakeOff. Because it's not like these guys was running rapid through the streets of Houston. They was only going there for specific reasons. I told y'all, man, Duke, he was invited out there. And J.Prince Jr. MobTies affiliates was the one that picked up Duke from the airport, man. Now again, dealing with TakeOff. Y'all seen TakeOff and Quavo was in the car with J.Prince Jr. brother Jazz. So the Pops gotta understand this. It's not just the people that's bringing up his son's name for attention. No, man. The reason why people is doing it because they trying to understand why is this happening? Why is this happening to young black men who don't deserve it? See, folks tried to tell y'all from the beginning, man, that J.Prince the Pops, he was controlling the narrative the whole time. And now it's going back. Now the people are saying that, yeah, that Migos bands actually did shoot TakeOff. Now they saying that Migos bands did up the blicky and hit TakeOff. Remember, that's what they stated before. Because once people start acknowledging that, hey, there were some other people who upped some blickies too. Who were the other guys? Then people start seeing that, yeah, it was LilCam in one video, and then the other video, they end up saying it was DJ Pat. Even though there's not too much on DJ Pat, it is more on LilCam and Migos bands up in the blicky. Yes, y'all can actually see Migos bands walking from one end of the room to the other end with the blicky in his hand. So yes, him walking from one end of a private event to the other, hey, most people gonna instantly go in survival mode. And that's for them to up their burners too. But still, man, we understand why he made his post. But he has to understand where the people is coming from. Because he's never been in a situation like this where he invited guys out and they didn't make it back home to their family. And again, it's not like it's regular guys. These are guys that you invite out because you know they make money. Because you know they have resources. So those guys supposed to have the proper protection around them at all times. If not, yes, the people are going to blame you, the person who invited him out. If I invite somebody out, I have to make sure that they make it back to their hotel room safely, and I have to make sure that they make it that they make it back to that airport safely. Hey, but we got more store. As always, y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it's worth. Let's get this merch. Subscribe to the PDH Network.